Well, we are, almost 5 weeks to the day until our big event coming up here on KCMO Talk Radio with Guy Benson. He is making the maiden voyage from New York and Washington, D.C., depending on where he's at for Fox News. And, of course, the show that you hear 2 to 5 in the afternoon on KCMO. To join us in Kansas City, we are calling it the first 147 days of President number 47. Dinner, drinks, meet and greet, show, the whole deal. It is going to be fantastic. Thursday, June 12th at the Boulevard Brewing Suites. So make sure you join us. Tickets are on sale right now. There's only a handful left. So make sure you get them right now at KCMOTalkRadio.com. Guy, are you counting down, my friend? Good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, really excited for it. And it's just amazing how so many tickets have been sold already. I'm kind of sometimes the type of person who's like, oh, you know what? That's more than a month from now. I'll see how I'm feeling maybe in early June. There's a good chance there'll be 0 tickets left by then. So I would just encourage people to go to KCMOTalkRadio.com and get those tickets now because it's going to be very fun. And we're even bringing Christine against our better judgment. So it's going to be memorable at the very least. Fun likely, memorable for sure. Hopefully the cops won't show up with Christine there, but you never know. So I cannot wait.
Well, the cops have a lot to do right now in this town. So if Christine is on their priority list June 12th, something went really poorly that night, but it will make for great fodder on the show, and we might even make the police blotter for the first time here at KCMO Talk Radio. And I guess she's the one who could do it for us. You never know.
If there's anyone who's going to do it, it would be her. But even if that doesn't happen at all, we're going to have a really memorable, terrific evening, and you guys have put together really a fantastic just situation, a fantastic evening with lots of fun, dinner, drinks, a pint glass.
Yes,
you get to take home. There's a lot that's bundled up into this ticket, and we really can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. As we mentioned last time we were on, I have not been to Kansas City since probably like 2004, 2005. So it's been 20 years. That was the one and only time I've been to Kansas City. So I'm excited to be back in a very different capacity than a college student. And it's going to be fantastic.
And you're going to be at the Royals-Yankees game. I know it just happened to coincide with a Royals-Yankees series here in Kansas City that week. And the Royals, they're on a heater, Guy. They won 13 of 15 right now. So your Yankees better watch out, man. They are potentially in for some trouble come next month here in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless Max Fried is pitching, assuming he doesn't get hurt like everyone else. Yankees are very uneven, and Royals are playing well. And honestly, of course, I'm very pleased to go see the Yankees. But as you said, total coincidence. I've just never been to Kauffman Stadium. It's something I've always wanted to do. I try to check off ballparks, and it has some very famous pluses. Like, I guess it's always talked about how great the grass is, how great the groundskeeping is. And so as a baseball guy, I'm just excited to see a new ballpark.
Yeah, you're right. And they want to knock that thing down here in the next few years and build the new stadium somewhere. So the timing is perfect for you, and we're looking forward to it. Tickets on sale now at KCMOTalkRadio.com. And if you want to sit with Guy and Christine, which, once again, could be against your better judgment, at least when it comes to producer Christine, that is also available, and information is there at KCMOTalkRadio.com. Now, on the news front, Guy, I mean, you're obviously going to be on today at 2 o'clock, and the news cycle, as we talked about with you before, will change from morning drive when we're on to what you're doing in the afternoons. This week has been, for the most part, no different. When you look at the news cycle right now, specifically around the president and the pace at which he is moving, what do you think the goal is when he says to the Canadian Prime Minister yesterday, hey, you guys should consider being the 51st state? And the Prime Minister says, we're not for sale. But Trump has this look like, I know you're not, I'm just toying with you. What do you think his end game is when he talks about the 51st state stuff?
I think he started with that trolling to annoy Justin Trudeau, and then has just kept it up, right? He kind of gets a line in his head, and he likes it, and he's going to keep going. And I think of the two people sitting having that discussion, the person who is happiest that Trump says this stuff is Mark Carney, the Canadian Prime Minister, because without that trolling, I don't think Mark Carney wins the election. In fact, I'm very confident of that. I talked about it on the show. I mean, the Conservatives had a 25-point lead around Christmas, and you just see how the polls completely turned on the 50-state stuff and the tariffs, and this liberal party that had been failing. Their record was horrible for 10 years. They were going to get thrown out on their rear ends in historic fashion by voters. They suddenly felt like they had a lifeline, which is, we're going to stand up to Trump, and we're going to be the hardcore anti-Trump party, and the electorate's really mad right now, and it worked out for them. So now Carney's won. I guess, Trump's still enjoying the line, but he's gonna have a left-wing socialist up there to deal with for the remainder of his term. So it worked out well for the leftists and not so well for the conservatives up there. I hope that nevertheless they're able to come together on some sort of a trade deal and resolve a lot of these trade issues and tariffs so they can focus on China. We'll see. I think a lot of people keep waiting for the first big deal to be announced. They keep kind of teasing it, right? So it might be India, it might be Japan. Those are the rumors that get thrown around a lot. Or it could just be misdirection and someone else altogether. And each day you sort of wake up thinking maybe today's the day, and maybe today is the day. But I would imagine probably in the next week at least, but I guess you never know.
Mm-hmm. Guy Benson's here on KCMO. Now, what do you make, because I saw this coming out of those Canadian elections, 2 weeks ago now, that it's the younger end of the demographic that actually was skewing very much to the right. And that lines up with some of what you saw in Rasmussen's polling this week that shows 18 to 39-year-olds, especially those married in that demographic, which I'm in. And you just left us having the big birthday a few weeks ago. But you're seeing younger people in Canada and the U.S., especially those who are married, moving to the right. How do you read that?
Well, I think in Canada specifically, the anti-Trump message that clearly ended up winning and flipping the whole script in the election was especially relevant to older Canadians. And you see, boomers, for example, shifted very dramatically to the left, mm-hmm. Whereas younger people who have their whole lives ahead of them and are trying to get a foothold and figure out how to afford life, trying to figure out how to buy a house, all these basic things, concerned about the cost of everything, far less established than older Canadians. They were much more interested in the messaging of Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party, saying this has been a lost decade under the Liberal Party. They've just been, their inflation was worse than ours. Their GDP growth has been some of the very worst, most anemic in the entire Western world. They've been really weak on crime. They've been awful on anti-Semitism in that country. There's just a lot of reasons why I think younger people said we are not really getting the Canadian promise that we were told we would have under this leadership, and they wanted something new. They wanted change. But then, the politics changed, and the Trump thing became the number one issue of the election because that's what the Liberals wanted. And, of course, just like here, the media goes along with what the Liberals want. But I think there's a lot of young people saying, okay, great, we stuck it to Trump, but how does that help me? How does that help me buy a house? How does that help my future? The Conservatives, I will say, even with the huge disappointment, they still ended up with the highest vote share that they've ever had in the modern history of the party. They won more seats than they have since 2011. So they still vastly overperformed themselves, but is still that tough, bitter pill to swallow, not just for them politically, but for a lot of those young people who felt like they were just kind of absolutely stuck and stagnant under the Liberals. And a bunch of, lefty boomers decided that, and I get some of it, but they decided that sending a message to the United States and to the U.S. president and all of that was more important in their mind than some of the other nuts and bolts of building a life. And obviously younger people, many of them would disagree.
Mm-hmm. Well, Guy, we always appreciate you hopping on the show, my friend. We look forward to seeing you out here in about 5 weeks, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great show. We'll listen at 2.
Can't wait to see you guys June 12th. Let's go.
There you go. Guy Benson on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio. Get those tickets now at KCMOTalkRadio.com.